from Afro Flower Gardens. And I wanted to just do a little check-in. And, as things come to me, that's when I usually like to go live. I'm not that performative. I'm not going to put on a whole bunch of stuff. I like to move on a vibe. So something I was just thinking about, and I think about it often, is how perhaps, at least for a while, wearing no makeup can actually provide and renew a healthy esteem. Now, I'm not anti-makeup. I'm not anti whatever folks want to do because we are all along different points in our journey. Yet today, where I am currently, greetings, it's quite hot. It's hot. And I literally just washed my hair. It's still wet. It's still dripping. And for those folks who sometimes ask, how can you neaten your edges? Well, I wash it. There's nothing in it. It's a light, very light organic shampoo, and I tie it down. And so my afro is nicely fluffed into place. And I got to get better about wearing a sun hat. So I'm putting the sun hat on underneath the scarf. I think it looks very chic. But can you imagine, like, it being almost 100 degrees and you have to put makeup on? I've had professions where I had to wear makeup to look professional. My hair had to be kept in the employee manual back in the day. It said no locks, and in parentheses, it described the different types of locks. It was unacceptable. I can tell you right now, as a person that's had a lot of acne, who's eating very healthy and exercising for years, that was such a point of, it was frustration. Can I keep it real? That was frustrating. It was very uncomfortable. I had such different, a lot of judgment for myself, and knowing, especially in a field such as fitness and being around some of the best bodies in New York and fitness competitors and a lot of high-end clients, you are judged, whether we like it or not. You're going to experience judgment in the current world climate, in fitness, when you're around a lot of quote-unquote beautiful people that have to present for meetings, folks that are in sales. You are judged. Yet, and I get it. Yet, do you feel, do you have a spontaneous smile? Can you catch yourself smiling at yourself when you pass a mirror? Whatever your shape is, if you're a little more fluffy, if you have acne marks, oh my gosh, forbid. I mean, can you honestly say that? And if you don't, that's not bad. That's not wrong. Yet in today's climate, more than ever, I invite you to consider being protective of your psyche, right? Of your subconscious. We all as humans have our own things to deal with, our own different sets of trauma to process and put it in its place so we can move on and it's not holding us back. But I invite you to consider conflict of interest. When folks are offering you a solution, whether it's a health solution, a so-called ever-moving goalpost of beauty solution, I invite you to consider if perhaps it could be causing some or triggering some intangible issues you didn't know you had, right? It's like when we were little, we weren't thinking about our looks when we were little. You were going outside and you were playing. You weren't preoccupied. I don't know about you. I wasn't preoccupied with food. I wasn't preoccupied with looks. I was going outside and I was playing and living my best life, my own B-I-bubble-I business. You weren't really that concerned about food or what your status was. You were just in the present, more in the present moment. So I invite you to consider, the solutions. If they have you on, if any are out there, these colloquialisms, because I'm an Afro person, consider if the solutions being offered to you put you on the whole stroll. If you have to be on the whole stroll with products. Now you are beholden, you are indebted to this next fix. And if you don't have the fix, just in your quiet moments, this may not be you. But do you experience anxiety if you can't get your makeup palette, if you don't have your eyelashes on, you don't have your mascara on? Do you feel like you can't go outside? Do you feel like you're not presentable? You can't show your face to your partner, your husband. You can't feel comfortable if you don't have your edges slicked down, if you don't have on your wig, if you don't have whatever the current name brand is. You know, a lot of this stuff, y'all, and my young flowers, all of this stuff, I'm gonna be real, and I'm not anti-luxury. A lot of it goes in the garbage. You could have been traveling. You could have been securing yourself into your future. I don't know if y'all realize, right? Maybe not. A lot of us as women, definitely as Afro women, and this is my perspective, it doesn't resonate, leave it right here. Especially in your teens, definitely your 20s and your 30s, you're not thinking that long term about your future. And in your teens, you'll even brag and you'll let the folks that are several generations, and granted, may have, you know, the contradictions, but we can be arrogant in our ignorance. Ignorance in the sense of, or in the context of, you don't have a frame of reference yet for what's coming down the line. You haven't experienced some injuries. You may not have experienced serious heartbreak or loss. You haven't experienced aging. So, if you're in the working world, you hear a lot about 401k and securing your future. Though when it comes to your mental health and stability and your emotional mental health future, which is going to be with you for the majority of your life, I don't find that the crowd is really supporting you in doing that. And sometimes not even your friends, because they may not have the frame of reference, or perhaps your friends, your family members, they may not be that stable, right? Or they may not be experiencing certain things themselves. So I invite you to consider if the solutions that people are offering you are just where they are at. It's not bad or wrong. Yet, if they're not healthy and not perfect, if they're not healthy and if that is not a priority in their life, just in your quiet moments, it's not about judging other folks, but consider, and it doesn't mean somebody that is not living a healthy lifestyle doesn't have a piece of information that you can benefit from, information. Yet I invite you to consider the whole stroll, you being beholden to someone and their information, in contrast to being able to trust and cultivating a trust in your own divine onboard innate intelligence. Even if you don't have the biggest frame of reference, can you sometimes sense that it's a quick solution, but I don't know if this is something that's sustainable? Health can be sustainable, your health. And that's why I would say, in my humble perspective, that health is the number one beauty product, because we are all at our most attractive first to ourselves when we are healthy, right? When at least we can get our skin to the healthiest it can be, we can take our body parts and our internal hygiene, which is also what you're eating and how you feel about yourself. Now we can say that's hygiene. I get all the products and everything sticking up in the yanni, but your health, your internal health, your bloodstream, your colon, your mental health, that is hygiene. It's not that much feminine products in the world that can take the place of mental, emotional, and physical hygiene. So just some things to consider. Being on the whole stroll, right? Can you not feel confident unless you are getting likes and validation? Because at some point you got to turn these screens off and you're going to have to sit with yourself. At some point, you're going to experience rejection just because you may not be somebody's cup of tea. However, you have to live with you. So I invite you. There's several things that we do have access to. I'm calling them Afro flower practices. Whoever comes through this little channel, you are welcome, right? Because I can learn from anybody as long as they're respectful to each other. And those Afro flower practices, I call them Afro flower because there are lots of traditions that were passed down to me and gems from some folks a bit older, not just older, but elder with some wisdom. And those lifestyle practices are, as I'm coining them, peaceful consumption, food that loves you back, and you can measure that in your waistline, your performance, your elimination. A personal movement practice, best part of your day, that's accessible therapy to give you a shot of feel-good hormones. And then there's garden therapy. Start a garden, y'all. You know, you could give yourself excuses. I'm in a cold climate. I don't have this. I don't have that. You know, I don't know where I gave myself excuses, but I follow after my grandma Lou. Because while you were sitting there talking about all the reasons you couldn't do something, she'd be down the street feeding somebody and getting what she needed to get done. If you're looking for a way to do something, you're determined, you can find it. And it's really easy to buy into, maybe without realizing, it's very enticing to buy into a victim narrative. And that's not really where our results are. So I'm inviting you all to create a great rest of the day on purpose. Hopefully, I will see you in the mornings, Monday through Thursday, 5 a.m. Because, we hit it and quit it. It's an intense movement practice. All you need is your exercise mat. If you got your little heart rate monitors, and Fridays is a community class. I'll see y'all soon. Like, comment, subscribe. You can find me Kwasapeacefull Eating on TikTok and Body-Culinary on YouTube. What do you call that thing? Instagram. See y'all soon. Let me know, how are you keeping your edges neat, if there's such a thing, if you're not using products. I'm keeping it simple over here. See y'all soon.